E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live, also on Amazon Fire TV, and to Twitch. Also, Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, how are you this beautiful Tuesday?
I'm doing good. Life is good. I'm healthy. I'm happy, and I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed.
Right.
And every day when I get up, Donna, I say every day, most days, I remember to be thankful for the heartbeat in my veins and the breath in my lungs, because both of those are a gift.
Right.
And that those chickens came home to roost back in October 29th, Halloween night, when I had a heart attack and then had to have open heart surgery on November the 1st. So when I say I really appreciate heartbeat in my veins, I've got some skin in that game, you might say. But beautiful thing of it is I'm very grateful. And I just like to say this. I just hope that whenever you're in your hour of need and, you need comfort, that you will feel the comfort I experienced when I said, if the surgery goes well, I go home. If it doesn't go well, I still go home. And I was just encapsulated in just love. And I just felt so secure, so safe, so loved. And it's a beautiful feeling. Right. And I hope that you and everyone out there that's listening and your family in their hour of need, I hope they also have that wonderful feeling of love, safe, and security. And I think the cat agrees with me. Which one is that?
It's this Glock.
Glock. Glock said it better than I did, ladies and gentlemen.
She has a way with words.
Oh, yeah. Donna, today is Tuesday. And April, my goodness gracious, it's starting to tick off. But on April the 5th, holy smokes, we got a couple of things we want to mention here that this is the National Day for.
Absolutely.
I got to mention National Deep Dish Pizza Day because, I've ate a bunch of them and they're good. So, if you appreciate you appreciate deep dish pizza, today is National Deep Dish Pizza Day. We're just going to leave that one there. But how about the National Library Workers Day? Appreciation for them. Oh, right. My goodness.
Wow. They do really, so much.
Yes. And they're so eager to help you if you go in there with a question or problem.
Right. And there is just a huge, can't think of the proper word, but a huge amount of things that they have to go through to kind of climb up the ranks as a librarian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just, reading a book and checking it into the computer. There's a lot more behind the scenes in that.
Oh, yeah. And if you're got a special project or something that you're working on and you need some help, you can call up your local library, set up a time with one of the librarians there, and they would be eager to help you. And one day I went in there and I was looking for something, and the lady at the counter, she says, "May I help you, sir?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "How do you look up a word in the dictionary if you don't know how to spell it?" And she looked at me and I started laughing. So, oh my goodness, I should have known that was a joke. I said, "Well, no, sometimes it's true with me, But I just wanted to, say something to give her a smile. And that's important every time we meet someone, we should try to put some kind of a smile or something on their face, make them feel good. Let them know that you recognize them as a person and you appreciate them as a person.
Right. Absolutely.
And Donna, I tell you, I just can't say enough about the librarians, the work that they do and all of that.
Oh, and think about how much they help our children,
Oh my goodness gracious.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And the next holiday we want to mention, this is the National Wildlife Day or Week?
Wildlife.
It's Wildlife Week.
Week. Hmm.
I remember back when I was young and good looking, they said help preserve wildlife. I thought they were talking about the parties coming up on the weekend, But
You
no,
know,
it's
and it's so important because I see it on social media where I live, and I get, I guess, a little dumbstruck that people want to know why, when they live up against a desert mountain preserve, and they want to know why there are bobcats in their yard, or coyotes, or
rattlesnakes.
right, rattlesnakes, the list goes on. And I'm thinking, oh, the other one is owls, because we have a lot of owls here. And I'm thinking, well, maybe because you encroached upon their territory where they live, survive, raise their offspring, etc. But it's so important to preserve our offspring. And if I could say one thing, is please, 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 whatever it is that you have, what kind of vermin you have that is a problem, do not poison them. If you, when you give them a poison, what happens is, like, if you put a poison out to kill a rat, okay, or a mouse, and then the mouse runs off and dies, the owl swoops in, gets that mouse, and ingests that poison, and it is a horrific death. So there are other ways to get rid of them. So that's just my little 2 cents on helping preserve our wildlife.
Yeah. I had never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right, because whatever the mouse eats in this particular example, the predator is going to eat, and all that poison just gets transferred on. So it has a domino effect. And I mean, it's just amazing how, we're just, and another thing too, along that line, we don't hear much about littering anywhere in the world. And litter is a major problem. And, people are, even in the United States, people are more littering now than I've seen in a long time because of I live out in the country, and the paved road that runs in front of my house, I forget how many feet that is, but it's over 600 feet long. And I keep my grass cut and all that. And people throw out beer bottles. People throw out cans, Coke cans, whatever, like I'm their personal, trash man.
Right.
And I'm going like, why don't you just, be respectful of people? And most importantly, respect yourself, that you've got enough pride that you're going to dispose of your garbage in a proper way rather than throw it out for somebody else to have to deal with.
Well, and stop poisoning basically your home.
Yeah.
By throwing out trash, you're poisoning the earth, which is our home.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't have a place in my car for a trash can, but what I do is I recycle the bags from the grocery.
Oh yeah.
And I open up the glove box, and where the little handle is, and I stick it in there, and the corner, and I stick it in there, and I close the glove box, and there's my garbage.
We are related. I do the same thing when I'm on a trip. When I'm on a trip and, got some waste after I get done drinking something or eating something, I'll, wad it up in my hand if it's, something like a, plastic or something, and I'll put it in that trash can or that little trash bag, plastic bag. And I'll do the same thing with containers. So when I get out, of course, I don't keep a supply of plastic bags, but I just dump them out into the can there at the rest areas or wherever and put the bag back in, because goodness, you certainly don't want to throw it out. That's for sure. That's just disrespectful. Right. And Donna, I've got to start. We are talking about the 7 levels of truth by Mr. Bill Heinrich. His book, The 7 Levels of Truth. It's on E360. It's on Amazon. And he's been on E360 TV with us many times. I saw that E360 down there and didn't know you'd put it up there. But anyway, Bill starts out with a very, very interesting comment here. And I'd like to open the show with this. Your mind and your heart will each give you a different perspective on life. One is instinctive and the other is intuitive. And we're going to talk about that heart and that mind because so many times people are telling you to set goals. So many times people are telling you to do this and do that. And you feel like you got to take the bull by the horns and actually, guide your own way when really that's the hard way. That's the physical way.
Right.
And
Right.
Donna, there's so many great comments in here that Bill made. My goodness gracious.
I know.
Yeah.
Usually we talk about a subject that we've done some research on, add in our own, our own experience to that subject. And although we do have a lot of experience with, a lot of the things that Bill talks about, it's just easier to read his book to you because we don't want to make the message cloudy, right? We want to make it crisp and as it was intended. So when we cover this in Bill's book, we just read straight from it.
Yeah. And the reason why is because Bill used such simple language. That's why we want to share his verbiage with you because it's that crystal clear. That's what's so beautiful about this book. And when we talk about the non-physical perspective, by remaining present and connecting with others, this is Bill talking here. He says, I move forward towards my intentions, and I will make sure that my energy supports the best resolution or outcome for all involved. See, that has an outward appearance. That's telling you don't look within.
Right.
Because when you're looking within, you're looking to serve yourself. And that's all physical, and it only comes from your mind. And your heart's going to lead you in different directions. It's going to open up paths.
Different.
Yeah. And you follow the energy. That's the thing that Bill talks about all the time. Follow the energy because the energy is calling you down your designed pathway of life because your pathway of life is designed. You were born for a purpose. And that's what this is about. Because physical perspective, and I'm going to let you pick up on the other things here later, right after this, Donna. The physical perspective is this. I am focused and my focus is only reaching my goal. And you can help me get what I want because I am happier when I get it. And our favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Right.
How many times we hear people talk about you need to set goals, you need to do this, and it's all about that favorite radio station. Hey, I like the way he phrases that. What's in it for me? That is the wrong vision. You're blind because you're looking inward. You're not looking outward. Go ahead.
You're right. But I would like, the only thing, one of the things I want to add is that when we have a purpose, mind you, it isn't just one purpose.
No.
Okay, so there's multiple purposes that we are destined to go through in our life, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to pardon me. My computer out. Oh my gosh, no! The computer and the outlet and I are having an issue.
Are you? Is it winning or losing? Are you winning or losing?
I'm losing.
Are you? But it's so important because on everything that you, every mission that you're on, when you're following, your calling in life, it's all about serving others, the outward appearance. That is critical. That when you focus on blessing others, you're going to be blessed yourself. That's a universal promise. No question about that.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So it's kind of interesting. He talks about in this next portion of this.
Okay.
Self-actualized people embrace the unknown. Now, I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that I was completely clear in his terminology. So,
Mhm.
self-actualization is a noun. It means the realization or fulfillment of one's talents and
Uh-huh.
potentialities, especially
Right.
considered as a drive or need present in everyone.
Wow.
Right? So we all have that. We all have something that we want to do, a drive, a need that we want to fulfill.
Mhm.
So, with that bared in mind, this next part's kind of interesting. Non physical perspective. When
Mhm.
I focus on generating positive energy into everything um, in my life, the results are always perfect. I
Mhm.
can improve the outcome by focusing on the present moment with a loving, positive perception of finding the best outcome for all involved.
Wow. Wow. That
Right?
is absolutely amazing. You can see from there why we did not want to translate Bill's verbiage because
Exactly.
he hits the nail on the head. And the reason we like to share this with you in this content and share exactly what he said is that if you decide to buy the book, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Right.
It's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo or any pie in the sky or, that sort of thing. I mean, Bill just gets down to grassroots reality, and that's what I love about him.
Right. Right.
And
He's very, very intelligent, but very,
mm,
very focused. Right.
yes,
He's extremely focused.
I love the way when he looked. First time I saw Bill, I thought, wow, because he looks like a detective.
Yeah. He's got cop eyes.
Yeah, yeah, he
He
does.
does.
And they're light blue. And when he looks at someone when he's walking through the room, there he was on a I don't know what he was doing, but the first time I saw him, he kind of like looked at me and he looked away and he was looking at the other people, but he had those eyes like, okay, who he was on a mission searching out for
Right.
one person. And I didn't know him from, at all. And I kind of like thought, wow, he must be on a mission. And he was. And his mission is to help people in their
Hmm.
hour of need.
Right.
And let me say this right now, that Mr. Bill Heinrich will be more than happy to give you a complimentary consultation for 30 minutes at no cost to you. He will not add you on his email list and badger you to buy something because he is too
Yeah.
busy. He's got thousands of clients all around the world and people that stay with him for years because of his wisdom, his knowledge, his inspiration. And just visit Bill at his website there, truelifepurposenow.com,
Mm.
and just say, you don't even have to mention you saw it on the show. You really don't. You can just say, I'd love to have a 30-minute complimentary consultation with you. He'll be glad to,
Right.
to set up a time for you and make room
Abs-
for you. That's the kind of guy he is.
absolutely. So, this next one, I love this one.
Mhm. Okay.
The physical perspective.
Oh, yeah.
What is what is happening?
Hmm.
We must control the direction of our goal all the time, or
Yeah.
we will not achieve the anticipated result. Manipulation and control are the cornerstone of survival.
I love the way he puts that because I'm not going to mention any names, but I've heard speakers speak from on stage, speak online, and that is the song that they sing.
Right,
Because
right.
people who are stuck into physical, he's calling to their need. He's calling
Hmm.
to the dark side. They want to come into the light. And he sounds like he or she may have light, but you're
Hmm.
still stuck in the same muck and mire and trash of life, as I like to say. And when you
And I'm
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go
I was just
ahead.
going to say,
Finish.
when you open up your eyes and you look for your calling in life, which is much bigger than the physical. This comes from
Right.
the universe where love and abundance exist. You can be anything that you want to be. And I know that sounds kind of tough, but we were talking about Mr. Bill Heinrich, but also visit Mr. Earl Nightingale. Earl is no longer with us. He's dead and gone, but on YouTube, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And if you live in a country where YouTube's not available, you can Google The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. It's available in PDF form. I've got that form too, and I'm telling you, the PDF form is verbatim what he says on the YouTube video. It's amazing.
What I wanted to say on the physical perspective of when we're trying to control and kind of push through our goal, because that's the only way we're going to achieve it. The only thing you have achieved is confusing yourself.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you of course you want to keep your eye on what you're doing and you want to push forward. But when you're trying to control and manipulate it, well, if I take a shortcut, or if, I do this or I do that, I'll get there. I'll get there quicker. I'll get there quicker than Jim. I'll get there quicker than whoever, right? And that is self-sabotage.
Yes. Yes. And I see a lot of people that put on positive statements every day on Facebook, and that's a good thing. But that is just the fluff, the icing on the cake of life. The real cake of life is you get out of the physical and get into the higher level of the spiritual, not religion now, but the vision of I'm going to love myself, I'm going to love others. How can I be of service to others and answer my call for my specific pathway? Because you were born for a specific reason in life. You really were.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. He goes on to say, when our perspective is attached to what the physical result will be, we are abandoning our power and working with force. If we stay detached and focus on each step with a positive, loving perception, we know we can attract the perfect resource, physical and non-physical, to achieve results that will be much better than anything we could imagine.
Oh,
now that's
my goodness.
right. Now that's not to say that sometimes you don't have to maybe pull the rein in a little, or if you're working with people, you may have to pull the rein in on them a little, because what he's saying is that when you work with that energy, it just starts coming.
Yes,
it
it
just
does.
starts coming to you, right? The doors open, and at the right time, at the right moment. We've all heard that. Oh, I was at the right place at the right time.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
thing here. Same thing here.
Exactly. And, Donna and I both have experienced the way that energy comes to us, because I think about, and correct me if I'm wrong, Donna, I think about everything that's come down our path that we love, wow, this is great.
Right.
It came to us. We didn't send out emails. We didn't ring
No.
doorbells. It came to
solicit.
us.
We don't
No.
solicit. We don't.
We don't try to hawk products on our TV show, because that's not what we're about. And we got some if you want to buy some, just, but seriously, we're all about giving and giving and giving. And when you have that kind of a spirit, we're blessed in all areas. We've got a great event coming up with the VFW on April the 23rd to be a blessing, to reach out to the combat veterans of this country.
Right.
And that's going to air on April the 23rd from Live Central. Donna and I, from our studio, messages of inspirational stories through the system to the branded channels. And we've got an outreach of over 300 million possible viewers there. But it's going to be airing a broadcast on April the 23rd, Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So, Donna, we're going to be on prime time on Saturday night.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And it just came to us. It really did. I mean, it's just things like that. When you have the right attitude, you attract things to you.
Right. You do.
Like your mind is a magnet. It's the best way I can explain it. I got no other way of doing it. But if you're negative, you repel everything, just like a negative person.
Well, also, but then there's also, if you're the kind of person, and I know people like this, and Jim, I know you do too, who they say the right things,
Mm-hmm.
but when you get to really know them or listen to them,
Mm-hmm.
what their whole intention is really about making money.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really about getting ahead. It's
Mm-hmm.
really about getting up there with the, the top 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
So that kind of person, when someone is doing that, you're actually at an impasse. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your great energy, and then you've
Mm-hmm.
got your, I'm going to push it through, which becomes
Mm-hmm.
sort of a negative energy.
Yeah. If it don't fit, I'm going to force it.
Right. And so it just stays stuck right here. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where you stay.
Mm-hmm. On my radio show, I've had a variety of different guests on there for ever since I started it back in 2019. And I backed into that one. I didn't sit down one day and say, I think I'm going to start a radio show. And it later turns into a podcast. We're on all the major podcasts. But I've had people, ladies and gentlemen, I think about what I'm going to say. People contact me and says, hey, my new book coming out, it's going to be a bestseller on Amazon. I'd like to
Right.
be on your show because I know your folks out there would really enjoy it and they get a lot out of it. Well, that's not what I'm about. Because
Right.
if you think about that statement, number one, you know nothing about the book. Number two, it's all about the person's. Let me tell you about my book. Let me tell you why you need to buy it. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you the other. And it's all from the radio station. I like the way Bill put that because we co-host that show together on the radio station. What's in it for me? Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming live from WIIL.
But Jim, in all truth and honesty, we've had the same thing happen here.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah.
We've had people that, they want us, they're like, well, let me just give you a little summary of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's like a 30-page dissertation.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they're kind of hard to hush.
Right. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. We don't want to bring people in here who are just going to talk about themselves
Mm-mm.
and blow themselves up. And there's no value to you.
Yeah. Donna, I'm glad you said that because we've been on international summits. Excuse me. And excuse me. The thing that I asked myself after being on those summits, 6 months down the road, did I really help someone improve their life?
Right.
And that's why when we do summits and everything like that, like the last summit we were on with Sadia, oh my goodness. That is the type of summit.
That was an amazing summit.
Donna and I were plumb proud to be on there. Not a puffed up pride, but the pride that we had young kids all over the world from the International Youth Summit. We're talking all over the world. And these young kids were asking some question like, wow, was one young, in fact, several of them, as a matter of fact, talked about this is great.
Right.
And we're just praising us for the information we were sharing. And all we were sharing was the truth to some hungry souls out there who needed a good spiritual meal, and as far as food for their spirit, to be able to help them in their hour of need to find out what their calling in life is and how they could, put what we were saying in practicality. In other words, give them some tools they could take home and start putting it together themselves.
Absolutely.
And they didn't have to buy anything.
Right. It was honestly, when I looked and sat down to do the summit, my first thought is, that I can honor the summit and honor Sadia.
Yes.
Right. And then if I can reach out and help one person, if I can help just one person,
amen,
then I have been overpaid. Absolutely overpaid.
Yeah. We did an event in Colorado Springs back in January of 2019. I was the MC of the event and as well as one of the speakers. And in my travels prior to the event, I tripped across a veteran. And I told him about the event. It's called the Pathway for Vets. We were bringing together some material where vets could be able to help themselves and that sort of thing. And he rearranged his schedule to be there. He came on Saturday. And on Saturday night when I left there, I was one of the last ones out because I was tired.
Right.
Day and I want to go home because I've been on my feet all day and I've been up there emceeing and all this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for our next speaker, so and so, and he's going to be or she's going to be talking about this, So I was doing the MC part, and I was just wanting to go back to the Airbnb and just lie down, roll over, and play dead and catch my breath. And I heard Jim, and I looked to my left. This young man, and he started crying. And he started sharing with me about his life, how he was homeless. He was sleeping under a bridge in the wintertime in Colorado Springs. And you know how cold it gets up there in Colorado. I mean, we're talking bone-chilling cold. And he didn't feel like he was a good dad because he got messed up on drugs. He was suffering from PTSD. And I said, well, you got to come back tomorrow because we're going to get you in touch with one of the doctors there who was local, who specialized. The doctor was a veteran. He specialized with PTSD. And so I called Bill over. I saw Bill going by, Bill Heinrich, the guy wrote this book. And I said, hey, Bill, come here, because I was not, I could not answer his questions or give him the comfort in his hour of need that I knew
Right.
Bill could. And Bill just picked up the pieces right there. Bill drove him home and said, I'll be here at 7:15 in the morning. And if you're not here, if you're a minute late, I'm gone. I'm going back to the event. Bill says, I drove up at 7 o'clock. The young man was sitting there waiting for me. And that day we got him introduced to the doctor. And the doctor accepted him into his program. And 6 months later, I got notified that the young man, was making great headways with his drug addiction because that's a long time, that's a lifetime experience of, as you very well know, Donna. But he had a job, he had a home, and he felt he had a relationship now with his kids. And, that right there paid me 10 times more than I was worth.
The dividends it paid you were
Oh,
forever.
yeah. Yes.
They were forever.
And that type of legacy is what you want to leave when you come in contact with others. That's why we're here, is to help one another. Not to, let me tell you how I made $10,000 last week. These people are normally just between me and you, and I'll hush down and let you take over. But these people who say things like that, it's been proven about 95 or more % of them are struggling to buy the groceries, pay the rent, and keep the wolf away from the door, as the old saying goes.
Absolutely. I like to look at it like this. I want to leave a heart print.
Oh, mercy.
I want to leave a heart print wherever I go, so that I want people to be able to feel my energy, my passion, my love. I want people to be able to feel that. That is so important to me.
Yeah.
And to what you said, Jim, that is absolutely, unfortunately, very sad and very true. And those are the people who do what you just said, oh, I made this and you can too. Sign up here. And if you sign up for this, well, you should get the high end edition because, you can make it in half the time. And a lot of those people who show, this is my car. They do the slideshows and, sometimes they don't say it. They're like, when you're at my level, this is what you can have. And they do the slideshow. Yeah. And that's somebody who is so stuck in the physical.
Yes.
Right? That people, there will be some people that go to them, but what will happen is they kind of push away because it's not genuine. Let's just be real serious. It's not genuine.
Yes, ma'am. You're right. It's a false hope. And that only attracts desperate people.
Right.
And that's, that's like promising somebody lunch, but you never give them a paper bag with
Right.
food in it. I mean, it's just, I'm just so glad, Donna, that you and I came together because of our heart is identical as far as what our mission is in life. It's our calling in life. And we were actually thrown together.
We were.
We really were. And because we didn't sit down and have a powwow about,
Oh,
hey,
no.
we're doing this. Never happened. Never
No,
happened.
we didn't even sit down and have coffee and just talk for half an hour. I
No,
mean,
we
we
didn't.
talked, but we was always
Yeah.
around a bunch of other people.
Right. It just, the way the energy pulled us together. That's what happened. Because if it's left up to me, I wouldn't be smart enough to pick someone like Donna as my partner here. It's
You're
true.
silly. No, it's not true. You're smart man. You're very smart man.
Well, thank you very much. I'll give you that $20, I promise, after the show.
Finally. Do you know how long it's taken me to get you to say that on air? Y'all heard him. Jim owes Donna Guinois $20. Now, we have this live, so he can't go and take it back.
Oh, my word as a gentleman. The check's in the mail. But our point is that, when something like that comes together, it's above and beyond, what anything the mind can conceive. It really is.
Right.
And you're also knowing that, what I love about it, and I'm sure you folks out there have experienced it too, when something's right, it feels right. And it just grows on its own. It creates its own energy. It walks by its own legs. And Donna, it's amazing. We were going to mention a few things here on the list that Bill had here on characteristics of self-actualization. And it talks about some of the things there that people they're realistically oriented, and you got to be real in anything. You got to have your feet on the ground. There's been more gold mined inside the minds of men that ever came out of a hole. That's true. I mean, the California Gold Rush proved that, and many others,
Right. But we get stuck, and that's what, you're really referring to. We get stuck there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We get stuck there because you're trying to force a square peg in a round hole.
Absolutely.
And the only way it will go into the round hole is if you hit it hard enough that part of it will break off.
Yeah, you got to force it.
Right.
And see, when you're following the energy, you don't have to force anything. Things come to you.
Right.
And that's what Bill likes to talk about, because Donna, I'd like to share this. We've talked about this many times. Your mind can only bring up the past. And what I mean by that, your mind can only bring up what's in the rearview mirror. Let me get my hand over here, like the little rearview mirror in your car that we look into, and we look at our mirrors on the side of the vehicle we're in and all that. But all it can see is what is behind you, what's happened. And when you love yourself and you're looking for a way to bless others, you're looking through the windshield of that vehicle.
Right.
It's much bigger than that little bitty mirror, because the mirror is only focused on physical things.
Right.
The past, not the future.
Right.
And I've heard you explain that many times, Donna, and you do such a wonderful job of it. But it's
the other thing that I would like to say is about that is, imagine we're in our car, right? We're driving along and we have a really hot cup of coffee. But man, now if you're like me or Jim, you absolutely adore coffee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. If we're out of coffee in my household, my husband and I said we're about broke because there's no coffee. So, I mean, it's serious.
Yeah, you're a quarter mile from, as my mother used to say, you're about a quarter mile from the pool house.
Right. But what I want to say is, so you're driving along and the coffee smells so good and you're
Oh.
going to a destination.
Mhm.
Now this destination's your life.
Yes.
And you've got this cup of coffee in your hand and you're driving. And when you go to take a sip of coffee, what do? We automatically look in the window right in front of us,
Mhm.
and we make sure there's not a speed bump that we hit and burn ourselves with the coffee.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a euphemism, I understand that, but it's the same way with life, right?
Mhm.
So, yes, we want to look out and make sure that we're not going to hit things that aren't going to burn us or hurt us.
Mhm.
But that windshield, oh my goodness, that
Mhm.
windshield, folks, that is everything, because
Mhm.
we only have that moment.
Mhm.
Now, everything I just said is right in the past.
Mhm. Absolutely. I love the way you put that, because yeah, when you were talking about spilling that coffee, I remember one time I was getting ready to go in a meeting. I had on a white shirt and a tie. I had a cup of coffee, and I accidentally spilled some on my shirt. And I had to go to the meeting because I was en route there. So I walked in and went to the bathroom and took a paper towel and some water and tried to even it out a little bit or try to lessen the stain or whatever. I walked in there and the guy said, "Jim, did you spill your coffee?" And I said, "Well, sometimes I like to just pour it on and let it soak in." I mean, I made it. That's what you do when something like
Right,
that. Make a joke out of it because everybody can
right.
understand you spill something on you. You just hey,
Absolutely.
just and don't let it gnaw at you because it's an accident. And when accidents
Right.
happen in life, just roll with the punches because they laughed, I laughed, and guess what? They never even saw that coffee stain on my shirt anymore.
Right. Right.
And it's that's important because it did not destroy my spirit. That's the thing that and I want to talk about this a little bit, if I may, Donna. That is the one,
Absolutely.
that's the one thing you want to do is don't let anything pop up in your life that destroys your spirit. That's why
Don't
when
let it
people,
poison you.
amen, what Donna
Don't let
said.
it poison you,
Yeah,
because what we think, and this is something, if I may interject real quick,
sure, please
we've
do.
talked about this, but I'm going to tell you, we can read great affirmations. We
Hmm.
can listen to great affirmations.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you get up after just reading an affirmation, you're like, wow, you're really moved by it. It's powerful. And maybe your foot gets out in front of you and you trip a little bit and you say, oh, Donna, that was so stupid.
Hmm.
What'd you just do?
You destroyed all that energy.
Right,
You
right.
polluted it right there.
Yep. So what we say to ourselves is the
Mm,
most important thing. It is the most critical thing.
mm.
So feed yourself beautiful things.
Yes, ma'am, because that is something I struggled with for many, many, many years throughout my adult life. I'd do something dumb. Jim, you moron. I
Right.
would
You
scold
dummy.
myself. Yeah, I would scold myself for being human and making a mistake.
Right.
And that just poisons your energy. It's kind of like turned off the light. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out there can say, "Hey, I can relate to that." It's okay. Love yourself, forgive yourself, and say, "I'm going to live my life in abundance. I'm going to enjoy the best things that life has got to offer." And it comes wrapped in love and it comes in abundance. And it just really solves a lot of your personal problems once you get out of the physical. That's what Bill's book's all about in a nutshell. And Donna covers a lot in her counseling with the person, place, or thing. I'm going to put her email address up there and I'm going to let her share a couple of things with you about how you can free yourself up and quit blocking your energy. So, Donna, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you, Jim.
You're
You
very
know,
welcome.
in my path I've walked, I have a lot of skin in that game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I understand what it feels like to be stuck. I know what it feels like to be depressed. I know what it feels like to be worried because you got mouths to feed at home and there's too much month at the end of the money. I know what that's like. But I do know this. We get stuck in negative energy with a person, a place, or a thing. It's like a negative energy vortex. And it can be a combination of them. But we all have triggers. But it's up to you to find that trigger. So I can help you. I would be happy to give you 30 minutes and talk to you. We may not be able to solve everything in 30 minutes, but I would be happy to talk to you. But understand, when we find the things that trigger us, the negative things in our life, and we can set them free, then your energy just explodes.
Yes. One of the things that I stopped doing, let me put it like that, was that I could see something come across the news and immediately it would upset me.
Right.
And you know what? There's nothing they can say on the news that can really upset me. Now, I'm not talking about, tornadoes or something
Right.
like that. I'm talking about things that just grind your grits,
Right.
And it's kind of like the old saying you've heard said many times, don't let anybody who is negative rent space in your head. And because it just blocks out all your energy, it blocks out all your creativity, it destroys you from the outside in. It's like it's a mental poison is what it is. It's like
Right.
brainwashing.
Right. Just like if you get mad really easy, and I've been there. I have a pretty rotten temper. But I'll tell you what, I finally took a long time for me to grow up. But I finally learned that, you know what? It isn't anything beautiful.
That's right. It's
When
really
I
ugly.
when I would lose my temper, I would lose control of the situation.
Mm.
And I promise you, at 57, I seldom lose my temper. Very seldom do I lose my temper. If somebody went after my family, my husband, my children, my animals, those that are close in my heart, I would lose my temper.
Sure.
But most things, people could call me names and I'll be like, oh, wow, vocabulary, awesome.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bother me.
Do you know any intelligent words?
Right. Now, can you play Scrabble with that and make something out of it, buddy?
Yeah. You're exactly right, Donna, because that's one of the things that people can throw at you. And if they know, especially if someone knows and they enjoy, listen to what I'm saying, if they enjoy tearing you down and they're successful in that, all they want to do in life and what their cheap thrill is in life is to make you miserable, because that enables them not to look at their own miserable life, because they're in a miserable, their soul is bankrupt on the inside. They got nothing to offer.
They're the ones that are struggling. They're the ones,
Yes,
people
ma'am.
who, it is not a reflection. Let me put it this way. When somebody hurls or says something about you, it is not you. It is a reflection of themselves.
Amen.
All the way through.
Because that's the only way they know how to communicate.
That's right.
That's the only way. That's the only way they know how to communicate, isn't it?
So, take it for what it is. And then guess what? Forgive them and let it go.
Yes. Because then it's their problem, not yours.
Right. And if you hang on to it, that becomes a physical.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They've won.
Yes, they have.
And now your energy is blocked.
You are so correct there. That's just amazing, Donna, how you say that, because it's so accurate. And Donna, when it comes to the things that Bill covers here in this book about how you can just free yourself right now. Just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Bill counsels people, and he was sharing one time on the radio. He says he was counseling a person, but this bothers me. Well, all you're doing is defending it. You're not letting it go. You want to hang on to it because so many times we actually defend our beliefs.
Oh, yeah. You
And
wear them like a badge of honor.
oh yeah, we sure do.
And we're human.
Mhm.
We're human. And
Yeah.
so, we have to understand where we're at to understand that really the only badge of honor I want to wear, Jim,
Mhm.
is love.
Mhm.
That I'm a good person.
Yeah. Because after you're gone from this world, your name is either going to be remembered fondly,
Mhm.
or you're going to have some people say, "Thank goodness that he's gone or she's gone." I mean, because
Right.
your name's either going to be remembered very fondly or it's going to stink. I mean, look at Adolf Hitler,
Right.
Al Capone, and my favorite, Jezebel. I mean, how many thousands of years has that lady been dead?
Right.
But her name stinks for generation
Exactly.
after generation. I don't even know if, some of the young people out there, it just seems like it's just we're programmed with that in our mind. We're born about Jezebel. I don't know, because you very seldom hear her name, but you mention that name and you know exactly what someone's talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
just it's amazing how that works, and that obviously comes from a much higher source than just the physical. It truly
Right.
does. And you want to be able to have in the military, in the Navy, they talk about leaving a clean wake behind you when you're on the ships, and you see that nice smooth wake behind you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. I had to have a Navy guy explain that to me 3 times before I understood it. That was a joke. He only explained it to me twice.
Okay, Jim.
All right. Because I saw you looking at me talking about a wake behind a ship. Where's he going with that? We're going
Right.
downstream. We're going downstream here. We're going down to the dock somewhere, going to eat somewhere, eat some nice fish, fish and chips or something. But Bill himself, the thing that I admire about him is that it took 25 years of his life to create this book. Just like through Donna's journey, the struggle she had, not being able to complete a full sentence for 2 years. Both of them turned all of that negativeness in their life to something positive, to share their message with others, to be a blessing to them. Because Bill walked away from his life. The only thing he took was his name. His life was miserable. And he had been very successful in life.
Oh, yeah. Very.
By the time I was 30, I was a millionaire. The time I was 31, I was broke. The time I was 32, I was a millionaire again. Well, you think with success like that, you'd have to be happy. But money cannot give you happiness. It can make your life
Because you're out of
comfortable.
balance.
Amen.
Your energy again, folks. You are out of balance when that
Mhm.
happens,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because we're coveting something that's a physical.
Right.
And the thing is that, we've talked about it numerous times on this show. If
Mhm.
you give to others, if
Mhm.
everybody brings something to the picnic, then
Mhm.
everybody wins,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh,
Versus just
yeah.
the person who comes to the picnic with their appetite and says, "Hey, give me your fork. I'm hungry."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? And so, if your energy is broken,
Mhm.
whew, and I've been there, and it's a tough thing, but getting that in balance, and
Mhm.
boy, does Bill know his stuff. I will
Oh,
tell
yes,
you.
he does. Yes, he does. I'll tell you this much about Bill. I was I sat down from him across from him with because he was sitting there drinking a cup of coffee. So he was sitting at the table. So I just walked up and sat down drinking a cup of coffee. And he started asking me a couple of questions. And within 10 minutes, he made such an impression on me. I changed my life. When I say I changed my life, it encouraged me to create a course. Your Future is Now. And we've dominoed that in, and that actually grew into a radio show.
Right.
And I didn't even know I was going to create a course when I sat down. I was just going to sit down and chew the fat and drink some coffee.
Right.
That was my intention, but that's how powerful he is. And Donna, I think tomorrow we should talk a little bit about people's gifts, because a lot of people don't know what their gifts are in life. Because you say, okay, you've been telling me this. And the Catbuster Jr. there, is that Glock?
Nope.
What?
This one's
Oh,
Niner.
Niner. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
my Russian blue.
Oh yeah. My daughter had a Russian blue and she loved it. That cat was something else. But we're going to be talking about your divine gifts, how you can find out why you are so special.
Right.
What makes you so unique, so valuable? A lot of people don't feel like they're valuable. Throw that out of your mind right now. It
Right.
is rotten garbage in your mind. Throw it out and tune in tomorrow, because we're going to start sharing some things about the divine gifts. We're going to drop the plow and we're going to do some deep plowing through that, because the information there is extremely, extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
We're out of time. My goodness gracious.
We are out of time, Jim.
These shows are too short.
I know, but that's okay. We'll be back tomorrow.
And I still owe Donna $20.
That's right. Y'all heard it. Now he's reconfirmed it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
And she'll
loving
say,
this.
he said 20 the first time, he reconfirmed the 20, that's 40, Jim.
Right, because that's how we act.
Ladies and
goodness.
gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And Donna and I, we like to close every single show with simply saying, please love yourself first and give yourself grace, and don't, so what if you made mistakes? Who hasn't? So what? We've all said and done things in our life that if we had to do over again, we would never go there.
Right.
And especially when we're young and dumb, now I'm just old and dumb, but anyway, at least I've learned to be, kind to myself and forgive myself and ask for grace and ask for room for improvement. That's critical. And we hope you and your family are filled with love and blessings in your life, and you and your family members are healthy and happy in all areas of your life. Our time is gone, but we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.